I also know that in order for women to lead, it sure helps when we see other women leading. And I'm reminded of this impact every time I think of Ruby. She was then a second grader who came home one day after school and said, "Mom, guess who came to read to our class today? The mayor, and she's a girl." And there it is. Representation matters, equity matters. And today, as we celebrate International Women's Day, I hope you take a moment to reflect on your own achievements, that you give them their proper due, and that you celebrate other women and their achievements as well. In this way, we will make progress as a sisterhood, continuing to choose to challenge.
All right, so one question here that was asked is, what do you see as the most pressing issue for women in today's society?
Oh, I'm going to talk about racial equity because I think that for as hard as it's been for me as a white woman, it is even harder for our sisters who are of color. And I think that when we have opportunities to elevate women, that's a priority, and particularly women of color. It's some of the hardest work around racial equity and gender because we're confronting racism and misogyny, which are like the double whammy, if you will. And yet I know that when you look at poverty and poverty indicators across our country, we know that women of color are experiencing poverty at higher rates. And while the equity, the pay gap is real, it's even greater for women of color. And so I think that this is a huge challenge for us, and understanding that those barriers are different is how we can help be better allies and supporting women of color in their dreams and achieving their dreams.
One question I have, because I definitely called you a celebrity. So what advice would you give if we have any of our students, especially tuning in either now or watching it later, to kind of choose to challenge is our theme, but like you said, it's not normal to go knock on thousands of doors. So what advice would you give to have, our students really get inspired here?
Well, I think that it's really about finding your passion, and then there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be barriers and opportunities that come your way in terms of what that is. I never thought that running for public office was going to be part of my journey, and I think that's also the beauty of being open to new challenges. And so I really think that don't count yourself out before you count yourself in. And that's really a key lesson that I have taken in this, because I think it would have been really easy for me not to run. It's a hard job. You don't get paid like, great sums of money. And your life is changed because you are in public, and that's part of the whole deal. But I think that if I wouldn't have done it, I would have regretted not trying it and to test my edge. And this has definitely tested my edge.